rather than starting him off in the same style and dress, it was really an opportunity to take him from the bottom and make it a little more of a question. I mean, the biggest issue I get about this film, about Gordon, well, has he changed? And we leave that sort of ambivalent. Was he a changed man? You don't know until the end.
Ma'am?
Hi, Francesca Litton from ABS-CBN in the Philippines, also from CFI. My question is for Michael Douglas. You just talked about change when it comes to Gordon Gekko. That question is left hanging until the end. But in terms of Gordon Gekko himself, what would he have retained in those 20 years he was in prison? What would not have changed for Gordon Gekko that is integral to his character?
His hostility and anger against Josh's character probably is deep-seated as the man who put him there, and his analysis of what's happened, knowing that he can't be involved, he's going to be in the sidelines afterwards. He's probably thinking more in an analytical way, and his book that he writes when he comes out is pretty accurate as to what goes down.
Sir?
Hello, Ernesto Garrat from Chile. A question to Oliver Stone. I want a few words, please, about your father. He was a Wall Street guy, and if the character of Frank Langella was inspiring this in your father in a way, because he's a decent guy.
No, Frank's character is based more on people from Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers, and he's right. I mean, Richard Fuld, F-U-L-D, was a villain in a way. He was just but I don't think Frank is as bad as Richard Fuld was, but he did run the company into the ground, and he, as he says to Shia at one point in the park, he says, "There's a lot more here than you know. There's a lot more going on than you're aware of." So my father was a different type of style. He was 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and he actually ended up, he was a real broker, and he was an economist, and he wrote letters, economic letters, for publication, but he ended up working, ironically, for Sandy Weill. Sandy Weill was the mega business entrepreneur who formed the basis of Citicorp by merging American Express at one point and insurance companies and banks and into a banking. He killed the glass wall. He broke down the glass wall. He put the brokerage houses and merged them into banks. He made one of the first financial supermarkets out of Citicorp. My father was working for him when he died. But the world changed. My father was an honest man, I thought, and I still think so. And he believed in serving his clients. That's gone. There's no clients, except unless you have a lot of money. Nobody wants to take you. I had an old schoolmate who became a big shot at Morgan Stanley. I remember in 1999, he was the head of Morgan Stanley. I won't tell you his name, but I asked him if he could make some investments for me, and he said, there's not enough there, basically. It's that kind of an attitude that was arrogant, that pervaded the entire Wall Street area.
Go ahead.
Harlan Jacobson from TalkCinema.com. I'm glad that gentleman asked that question, because since this is a movie about fathers, in which fathers play a significant part, both you, Oliver, and you, Ed, are connected to Wall Street through perhaps the New York Stock Exchange and other things. I wonder what the text of the conversations you had with your fathers over time about their belief in the market system and your questioning of it, and how you think about that now as you've gotten older, and what their views might have been about the way in which the market has gone and the way in which you have gone. And I'd also like to ask Michael Douglas, what do you feel that you owe to your father for your entry and your that helps you in your career in the business?
Do you want to start, Ed?
My father was in the toy business, and my stepfather, who knew Lou Stone, Oliver's father, was a broker in the same sort of tradition as Lou. He was a trader. He wore a flower in his lapel every day, and had a kind of style of elegance of the old Wall Street, and it was a very personal kind of business in the way things were. It was very different from today, and we never discussed the philosophical aspects of his job. He was very proud of what he did, and the institution of the New York Stock Exchange was the center of the universe then, which it isn't right now.
Michael?
Michael, computers took over. I mean, my father was dealing with computers at the end of his life, and it was very complicated to him. He was not comfortable with that, and he was used to the paper. There was also a big firewall between analysis and the sellers on the floor, the people, the traders. In other words, the research departments really were research departments, and somewhere along the line, the research departments just were subsumed by the production departments, and they like Bush did with Iraq, they shifted the intelligence to match what they wanted to hear. So the whole thing is frightening. And my father would roll over in his grave if that old cliche is true. I don't know. What do you think, Frank?
He would roll over in his
Yeah.
grave. Probably. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
No, I don't know what it means, roll over in your grave. But anyway, Michael.
I think I had the advantage of being second generation, which allows you to watch your father as a movie star conduct his life. You see his friends were stars. You get to see the insecurities, the vulnerabilities of people. You see how you conduct yourself to the public. I watched him as an actor and as a producer work on material, which I think was very beneficial for me. And the only thing I think I specifically owe him was the fact that he initially bought the rights to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which ended up playing a crucial